at 10. Gambling, prostitution, and drugs. Salt Lake City police take aim at vices with a whole new approach.
Plus, wild animals on the loose, targeting your pets. What you need to know to keep them safe.
And more wild animals used to rescue people trapped in an avalanche. Video you just won't believe. Nonstop News at 10 starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Kylie Conway.
And I'm Brett Hunsaker. Prostitution, human trafficking, and drugs. They're all being targeted by a new unit of the Salt Lake City Police Department. The night team's Christina Rendon joins us live in Salt Lake City tonight. And Christina, this unit, I understand, won't be operating like the old Vice Squad.
No, it won't, Brent. This will be different and hopefully more effective. Now, Salt Lake police have always enforced the law, but this is a new way to fight crime, and a group of officers are now part of a unit aimed at catching the bad guys. From the days of Al Capone.
Somebody messes with me, I'm gonna mess with him.
To movie mobsters like The Godfather.
I'm Corleone, give me justice.
Gangs have thrived on illegal activity. Salt Lake City police say real organized crime is alive on our streets, even if you can't see it.
Hope that we live in a utopia, but obviously that's not true.
The police department created the Organized Crime Unit. They target problems in the city like human trafficking, prostitution, high-end gambling, and illegal distribution of alcohol to minors.
Not necessarily to make arrests. The goal is to stop the activity or prevent the activity from occurring in the first place.
Chief of Police Chris Burbank says the unit replaced the Vice Squad because that organization wasn't the best way to do business. His goal is to be upfront about their intentions with criminals.
I think it's smart to do that because even though we don't see it, there probably is a lot of crime going on, especially more at nighttime.
I think it's wonderful. Wonderful anytime that you keep any kind of organized crime, any kind of crime off of the streets at all. And, it lets people roam around a little freer and feel a little bit better.
Burbank believes if his officers impact the demand, they'll reduce the supply, keeping our streets safer.
Anytime that you have a stronger police presence, even if it's maybe a little bit more hidden than you're used to, I think that's a good thing.
And if police find that local crime is part of a bigger operation, they're going to call in the feds. They're working with the IRS, the DEA, and the FBI to catch the criminals. We're live in Salt Lake tonight. Christina Rendon, ABC4 News, 19.
We were the first station to tell you about a new drug hitting our streets. This synthetic hallucinogen is so new, many police departments here have never heard of it. But at least one was confronted by the drug in an unusual way. The night team's Brian Carlson with more on this dangerous trend that could affect your family.
The nickname for this drug is called N-bomb, and so far police have only seen it a handful of times. They actually had someone driving through Farmington who got caught with it in their car. And now police believe it could be the next dangerous drug your kids could get hooked on.
Called 25I, N-bomb.
Kids call it 25I or N-bomb.
I've done 25I N-bomb a handful of times.
It's a new synthetic version of LSD, and it's the latest drug that's hit Utah streets.
I don't know a lot about it at this point, and I don't know that anybody does.
Lieutenant Mark Chatlin says he'd never seen it before. But in December, some people driving through from California got caught with it and had to teach police what it was.
And the actual suspects actually explained to us what it was and how they obtained it.
According to the DEA, you use it with a blotter and put it on your tongue. It then starts powerful hallucinations that make users trip out.
It was probably one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life.
The DEA says N-bomb started in Berlin in 2003 and has since migrated to the United States. It's already caused deaths in California, Louisiana, and North Dakota. Police say it's dangerous because you don't know what's in it.
You're talking about chemicals that are being, that people are ingesting into their bodies that we have no idea of what the long-term effects or what the short-term effects of those chemicals are.
And if cases of this drug pop up more and more in Utah, police are worried teenage kids will be the ones who use it. Now, it's important to note, so far, there's no actual law banning N-bomb by name. But as you may remember, 3 years ago with Spice, it was the same way. Reporting from Salt Lake City, Brian Carlson, ABC4 News Night Team.
ABC4 News going nonstop now. A Murray man is recovering in the hospital tonight. He was shot by police. Officers say they had no choice. He pointed a gun at them. It was only later that they found out it was just a BB gun. The man is in critical condition, yet we're told he is expected to pull through, and he may yet face charges.
A woman is in the hospital right now after crashing into the back of a semi-truck earlier tonight. Police say the truck was stopped at a red light on Bangerter Highway when the woman slammed into it. This is a scene here from earlier. She was life-flighted in extremely critical condition. Bangerter was shut down for about 90 minutes because of the accident. Police are still investigating any possible charges. And we have some good news for tonight for some Utah drivers. According to AAA, Utah has the lowest gas prices in the country. $2.90 a gallon, about 2 cents cheaper than Wyoming. Salt Lake City has the cheapest gas of any city at just $2.78 a gallon.
A warning tonight, someone may be after your car. Police saw a huge spike in car burglaries recently, and as the night team's Marcos Ortiz shows us, the owners are making themselves easy targets.
They didn't take the radio. They didn't take tires out of the trunk.
The car burglars just wanted her car seats.
Who takes out seats?
Who takes out seats?
But the owner, who didn't want to be identified, soon learned her seats are valuable. She owns a car that no longer is made and says its parts are hard to find and expensive.
It's a little unnerving because you don't know. Well, obviously it was for something for the car, but I'm not working and I don't have income enough that I can just replace those seats.
She was one of 16 car owners who were victimized by car burglars this past weekend. Thieves roamed the streets of Provo and Orem and helped themselves.
For some reason it spiked. We're not sure why, but with vehicle burglaries, they go up and they go down. And this weekend was a bad one for us.
In Provo, police soon learned owners of these vehicles had left their cars unlocked, making it easy for burglars.
I think it just comes down to being smart and, again, being a hard target, meaning take everything out of the car, lock your car door, and don't be an easy victim.
And that's what happened to Diana. She blames it all on cold weather.
My car was unlocked because previous experiences have shown that, for me, it can freeze in the winter. Then I cannot get into my car.
This is a no-no, leaving your cell phone or perhaps your laptop on the passenger seat in plain view for a bad guy to see. Police say it's just an invitation for the bad guy to bust your window. Marcos Ortiz, ABC4 News, Night Team.
Now, ABC4's Pinpoint Weather, Utah's most accurate forecast.
Well, we'll use that same analogy, see if we can bust up this inversion. And sure enough, we will, but not until Thursday morning. So the clouds, we still have some holes in them. We still have the haze. Fortunately or not, we'll catch some fog, a little bit more in terms of partial clearing throughout the night. Temps running 25 to 30 along the Wasatch Front for the time being. What we have in the low cloud fog department tomorrow will give way to hazy sun, some cirrus clouds. The high thin, you'll still be able to see a bit of a shadow, but hey, look, yeah, right? A little bit above freezing between noon and 5, but the poor air quality that we have now replaced by 2 other variables. That's going to be poor travel and the big old avalanche danger. Talking more on that in just a bit, Kylie.
Covering America Now, and more gripping testimony out of Colorado tonight. During the preliminary hearing of the accused theater shooter, a police officer told the court what he thought when he first ran into the theater and saw all the wounded people. He said, quote, "I knew I needed to get them to the hospital now. I didn't want anyone else to die." Many family members believe the defense's claim that its client is insane is a complete lie.
Nobody who has a mental illness would set up their apartment to blow up before they were going to go in and shoot a bunch of people.
Another detail skeptics point out, James Holmes bought his ticket for the movie 12 days before the shooting spree last July.
Now, if you were surrounded not just by one, but by a pack of coyotes, what would you do? It happened recently to a woman who was out walking her dogs, and today she talked with ABC4 about what happened. The Night Team's Kim Fisher has her story. And Kim, is there a reason for concern here?
You know, Brent, not for concern, but people should be cautious. This is the second incident like this that's happened in recent weeks, and people just need to know these animals are out there, especially if you walk in areas like this with your dog. Cheryl Allred could only think one thing as she and her dogs were surrounded by coyotes.
I hope they're scared of me.
Careful. But they weren't. And much like this video we found on YouTube, they were closing in. Cheryl says it happened as she was walking her dogs on the Bonneville Shoreline Trail.
She was way ahead of me. I noticed that we were kind of getting close to those coyotes. I thought, you know, I better call her back.
But before she could, the coyotes reacted.
One of them saw her and just beelined straight for her.
Cheryl says 6 to 8 coyotes came out of nowhere, surrounding her and the dogs. But Cheryl stood her ground.
And I was kind of walking backwards, just kind of yelling at them. And they just quit kind of one by one.
Turns out, Cheryl did the right thing. We went to the Department of Natural Resources to find out more about this coyote behavior.
When they see another dog come in, they'll see that as a threat to their territory, and they'll want to attack that animal and force it out of there.
Especially this time of year. Wildlife specialist John Shivik says coyotes are more territorial right now because they're mating. So if you see a coyote in your neighborhood or are approached by one on a trail, immediately call police. Because if they're not afraid to approach you, they may not be afraid to do this. Now, if you do have a permit to carry, you can always bring your gun out with you. It is completely legal to shoot coyotes, but the DNR says basically standing your ground, just like Cheryl did, is the best way to go. Reporting live in Salt Lake City, Kim Fisher, ABC4 News Night Team.
The fight against obesity. You know, we're supposed to get some help from those calorie counts that are plastered on restaurant menus. But are they accurate?
Plus, wolverines are some of the most ferocious animals around. But could they be used to save a life? The shocking video when we come back.
And being a reporter can be tough, especially when your own photographer comes after you. A crazy accident caught on camera.
One problem exits stage east, but it's replaced by 2 additional problems. Details coming up right after the break.
Non-stop news on ABC4. Back in 90 seconds.